Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's Billy Haynes here with the Down album, Over the Under. Yeah man, like, it feels like yesterday this album came out. Bit of a Down fan. I love a bit of a bluesy sludge. Not going to get into Phil Anselmo too much. I mean, I respect him for the work he's done. All the other shit aside, like, don't want to get into that crap. We're here to do a review of this album. Came at us in 2007. It's an interesting one. By far not my favourite Down album, I must admit. But let's get into it. So, Three Suns, One Star starts off. Really like the bluesy, again, feel to this song. I think it's really good. The drums are really good. The guitar's killer, always killer. But I really love the bass, probably the most of all of that song. The bass line is just sick. Love it. It's getting a 3 out of 5 from me. The Path, again, another good song. It's getting a 3 out of 5. Love the guitar work. Really like the bass. The drums is really good on it as well. And this is one thing that I will say, the first quarter of this album, not completely sold on Phil's vocals. I'm just saying. Goes into NOD. This is probably the song that I probably like the least off the album, personally. It's getting a 2 out of 5. I think it's an average song. I probably won't go back to it. I never do usually. But the bass and the guitar is really good on this one. That's what really stands out. Ice Cream is next. Yeah, I think that's a good song. Again, really like the bass, really like the guitar on it. The drumming is pretty cool as well. It's getting a 3 out of 5. On March the Saints is next. Probably one of the highlights of the album for me, personally. And I really think Phil really picked up his vocals on this one as well. Really like that. Drums is great. The bass is absolutely savage. And the guitar work, again, great. It's getting a 4 out of 5 from me. Really like that song. And that's the thing. As you're going through this, you're enjoying it. At least that's how I felt. Is I'm enjoying it. It's not set my world alight, but I'm enjoying this album so far. But when it gets to on March of Saints, I think it starts changing up a little, and it starts feeling like a pretty great album, and feels like it's, you know, to that point it's worth a listen, personally. Never Try is next. Another good song. All the rhythm sections there again. The guitaring's great. Yeah, it's getting a 3 out of 5. Beneath the Tides is next. Really like, again, the rhythm section, the bass and the drums on that is just brilliant. It's getting another 3 out of 5. His Majesty the Desert comes next. Really like the guitars. Most of all, I think the guitars on that song is probably the best thing about it. Like the solos as well. That's a 3 out of 5. It's a good song. Pyramids next. The guitars and the bass, and I like the guitar solos on that as well. I think that's a pretty cool song. That's getting a 3 out of 5. It's a good song. In the Thrill of It All is next. Really like the guitars again in this. I think they really do start shining later on in this album. The solos are great. The drum is fantastic. The drumming is really good. Really subtle, but it's actually, yeah, it really works well. And the bass is killer on this album, I must admit. Probably one of the big redeeming qualities about this album is actually, their bassist really sold it for me, personally. And then it ends with Nothing in Return, which I think is the best Down song I've heard. I must admit, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. I think that song is absolutely killer. ends the album perfectly on such a big high note. Makes you want to go through it all over again, personally, is to kind of go back through that journey and get that real end quality that Nothing in Return really delivers. And it really does deliver, from its vocals to its drumming to its guitar work, its bass. Again, the bass is just savage on this album. But overall, even though that's my favourite Down song, like I said, this is not my favourite Down album. It's getting a 3 out of 5. It's still a good album. I still think it has some really good redeeming qualities about it. It doesn't really have much of a bore fest into it. I mean, there was one song probably on the entire album that I probably wouldn't return to. But out of 12 tracks, that's not so bad, actually, when you consider it. You know, because I'm not here to completely shit on things. I'm going to give my opinion if I feel it. Obviously, if I step on toes, I'm sorry. But yeah, Over the Under is a good album. You should check it out if you're into that sort of sludge metal, really bluesy, and you big Phil Anselmo fan. This is the one for you, man. I really do believe that. It is a good album. Got plenty more for you. I'll see you on the next one.